Clearly this bird gets its name from its male's coloring, so that's pretty straightforward in this case. But the males and the females actually look very different. They look so different though that they were originally described as two different species. Males are a midnight blue above and white below, with black on the throat, face, and sides, while females are a plain grayish olive overall color, although some individuals have blue tints on the wings and tail, almost greenish sometimes. It's weird. But both sexes have a characteristic small white square on the wing, sometimes called a pocket handkerchief. That kind of does look like that, and that can really help you IDing this bird from other drab fall warblers sometimes. Black-throated blue warblers are small, well-proportioned birds with sharp, pointed bills. Compared with other warblers, they are fairly large and plump. I would say that they are. This warbler doesn't really spend a lot of time in treetops though, so looking for this bird won't give you a case of warbler neck, which is nice. Looking for them in shrubby understory and lower canopies in the larger tracts of forest during the breeding season, and during migration they forage in all types of woodlands, parks, gardens, still keeping to lower areas compared to some other warblers, so they are a little bit easier to find. You'll kind of see them more at eye level. Unlike other warblers that molt into a confusing fall plumage, the male black-throated blue warbler will keep its distinct black and blue plumage year-round. So it's not really hard to identify. Unless you see a female, then it can kind of be, But you can look for that white distinctive square on the wing patch to help ID the females. So as far as behavior goes, these birds forage in the understory and lower canopy forests, kind of like we said, more at eye level, where they'll pick insects from the underside of leaves. And in summer, males will sing to defend their breeding territories and act pretty aggressively to chase away rival males. Like other warblers, black-throated blue warblers will flit from branch to branch, carefully examining each twig or leaf for insects. But unlike some, they do tend to stay within the shrub layer and lower canopy forests, where they often forage in a more methodical way, looking around intently and picking insects off of foliage. They will usually inhabit dense tropical forests, woodlands, shaded coffee plantations, and second growth areas with trees. I would say that's usually where I find them. I do usually find them in the tropical hardwood hammock, or I'll find them in like strangler figs eating berries and stuff like that. And that brings us into food. So when it comes to food, the black-throated blue warbler will search leaves and twigs for like spiders, flies, caterpillars, often taking them from the underside of vegetation. I have seen them grabbing spiders and stuff like that. And on their wintering grounds, they'll supplement their insect diet with fruits, which is true because we get them here in the Keys in the winter time and during migration, or in the spring, during migration and stuff like that. And I do definitely see them eating a lot of fruit. They will tend to forage in the shrub layer of the lower canopy, and I have also observed them eating flowers and fruits. So they're often seen in, you guessed it, strangler figs, like I said before. In the Dominican Republic, black-throated blue warblers take advantage of a sweet treat created by insects harvesting tree sap. These insects feed on tree sap and excrete drops of sweet sap or honeydew from their back ends that warblers drink up. Oh my gosh, that's just nasty. But that's what they do. So I hope you learned a little bit today about the black-throated blue warbler. This is definitely one of my favorite warblers. I remember seeing this warbler the first time in the forest across the street from my house, and I was like, wow, what bird is this? This is crazy. I love the color pattern on this bird. Such a cool bird to watch. He was eating like these little berries and these little white flowers. It was beautiful. Such a beautiful warbler. It was kind of when I started to notice how many different colors and how many different species of warbler there were. And I really, really began to love warblers. So they're making their way through right now in the fall. We're at peak season right now. I'm hoping to get a big fallout with this storm that's coming. Hurricane Milton, I think it is. It's like, what a name. But hopefully we'll have a big fallout of black-throated blue warblers, among others, after the storm passes and everybody stays safe in the meantime. Other than that, everybody have a great night, and I wish you a great migration season. Happy birding!